She Plays On Women's Football Podcast. I am your host, Harry Chan. Let's get straight to the news of the week. Women's FA Cup holders Manchester City will face Arsenal or Tottenham in the semi-final if they beat Leicester in the quarter-final stage. Manchester City face Leicester, who are the lowest ranked side in the competition, on Saturday 26th of September. The winner of the Brighton against Birmingham City game will take on either Everton or Chelsea when the semi-finals take place from the 30th of September to the 1st of October. Borussia Dortmund are to launch a women's team for the 2021-22 season. The Bundesliga club have announced the team will start as a non-professional outfit in the 8th tier of German women's football. They were one of the few major European clubs still without plans for a women's team, but follow rivals Schalke, who will launch a women's team this term. Former Leicester City striker Emile Heskey has returned to the club in an ambassadorial role to support the development of the women's game. He will mentor players as Leicester City women transition to become a full-time professional side. Last month, the Premier League Foxes bought championship outfit City Women, who were formed independently in 2004. A new 3-year partnership with Vitality for the Women's FA Cup, quote, demonstrates the power of women's football, says the Football Association's Kelly Simons. The partnership will bring, quote, significant investment to the competition, and Vitality hopes to help the FA, quote, drive more visibility to the women's game. The FA will also take its time to consider, quote, a number of options on the table for a takeover of the WSL and the Championship. The Premier League has been in talks about taking control of the leagues, but its chief executive Richard Masters recently insisted, quote, now was not the right time. In July, The Guardian reported that a majority of WSL clubs opposed the idea of a takeover by the Premier League amid concerns that the women's game would play second fiddle to its wealthier counterpart. Sky News has reported that CVC Capital Partners has become the latest suitor to approach the FA, following similar interest that we reported from Bridgepoint earlier this year. The long-time standing owner of the rights to stage the global MotoGP series, Bridgepoint was reportedly trying to take over the WSL from the FA as well. And here are the results of the games last week. Arsenal beat West Ham 9-1 as Jill Roord scored her second hat-trick in a row as Arsenal dismantled 10-player West Ham in front of 734 fans at Chigwell Construction Stadium. The WSL match was selected as a test event for the reintroduction of crowds in football. After a close first half hour, the game turned when Gilly Flaherty was sent off for the host after falling 2-1 behind. Arsenal then dominated the game, scoring twice more before half-time before a ruthless second-half display in front of goal. Vivian Miedema scored a brace with Kim Little, Beth Mead, Leah Williamson and Caitlin Ford all finding the net as well. In another game, Reading beat Aston Villa 3-1. Reading picking up their first 3 points of the season with a comfortable victory over the newcomers in the WSL Aston Villa. Goals from Emily Aiklin and Lauren Bruton and a Farrell Williams penalty gave them a 3-0 halftime lead. Stein Larsson's penalty offered Villa some hope with 11 minutes remaining on the clock, but it was Reading who saw out the game comfortably. Everton, meanwhile, beat Tottenham 1-0 with Itzy Christensen's header, seeing Everton maintaining their winning start to the WSL season with victory over Spurs. The England midfielder nodded home Nicklin Sorensen's pinpoint cross early in the second half. Spurs only briefly threatened as Kit Graham and Josie Green were denied. Lucy Graham had earlier wasted a good chance for the hosts, but they rarely looked like relinquishing their lead. Birmingham City lost 2-5 against Manchester United. United having to come behind to claim their first WSL win of the season as they left Birmingham City still pointless at Damson Park. After Jane Ross's early strike, the Blues actually turned it around with Claudia Walker's equaliser, then an Abby McManaman's own goal before Katie Zellum levelled. Ella Toone put United back in front 2 minutes after the break, and Kirsty Hansen then netted twice in the final hour to wrap up the 3 points for Casey Stoney's side. Brighton and Hove Albion managed to hold Manchester City to a 0-0 draw. New signings Lucy Browns and Alex Greenwood suffered frustration as Manchester City were held to a goalless draw by a resolute Brighton side. The England pair who arrived from Lyon last week were in the starting 11 named by manager Gareth Taylor. Although City dominated possession, they could not find a way past Brighton goalkeeper Megan Walsh. She denied Steph Houghton, Chloe Kelly and Georgia Stanway, while Danielle Bowman was just wide for the visitors. In the last game, we are reporting Chelsea thrashed Bristol City 9-0, with 9 different goal scorers to register their first win of the 2020-21 Super League campaign. In a frantic first half, Chelsea led 5-0 at the break with Fran Kirby, Mariam Jade, Maylene Leupolz, Erin Cuthbert and Millie Bright all scoring. Beth England added a 6th for the Blues from close range before Niamh Charles scored on her debut soon after. Pernille Harder backed to her debut goal as the 8th before Sam Kerr completed their 9th goal. It is Chelsea's first win of the campaign after they drew 1-1 with Manchester United on the opening weekend, while Bristol City have now conceded 13 goals across 2 games, having lost 4-0 to Everton on the 6th of September. In our transfer news this week, headlines at Tottenham Hotspur have completed the signing of United States forward and women's football icon Alex Morgan, subject to her obtaining a visa. The 31-year-old has helped the USA win back-to-back World Cups, scoring 6 goals in 2019's tournament in France. Morgan, who gave birth to her daughter on the 7th of May, has scored 107 goals in 169 international appearances for the USA. She becomes the 5th member of the world champion squad to sign for a WSL club this summer. Sam Mewis, Rose Lavelle, Tobin Heath and Christian Press have all already sealed moves to England. Morgan has played for Orlando Pride since 2016, and the Florida-based club say that while she will not be available for the American NWSL's upcoming fall series, they will retain her NWSL rights upon her return. Tottenham Hotspur says that Morgan, who has been given their number 13 shirt, has joined quote for the 2020-21 season, after initial reports suggest that she will only arrive on a short-term deal until the end of December. England forward Alessia Russell says Manchester United manager Casey Stoney's vision for the club inspired her to join the Red Devils this summer. The 21-year-old has signed a 2-year contract, plus a further year's option with the WSL side. She arrives after spending 3 years at North Carolina Tar Heels, studying at the University of North Carolina. At the same time, Arsenal women have re-signed defender Lloyd Wubben-Moy after her spell in college football in the US. The 21-year-old made 13 appearances for the Gunners, before leaving in 2017 also for North Carolina Tar Heels. She has been capped at every age group by England and was named in Phil Neville's senior squad last Tuesday. That's it for our show this week. If you liked the podcast, remember to rate, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. We'll be back next week. Thank you again for listening. I'm Harry Chan, and this is the She Plays On Women's Football Podcast.